Okay, so what we want to do on this equation, y equals 2x squared minus 3x minus 4, is we want to solve this quadratic equation by completing the square. Now what's different about this is our leading coefficient is not 1. In order for you to complete the square, the leading coefficient must be 1. Say it with me. The leading coefficient must be 1 to complete the square. Okay, so I wrote it for you. The leading coefficient must be 1 to complete the square. And this is the word 1, but I mean the number 1, okay? And remember, our equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. And what we're saying is a must be the number 1. Well, currently, it's the number 2. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to divide everything by 2. We need to divide this by 2, and this by 2, and this by 2, okay? And so I'm going to replace this y with a 0. 0 equals x squared, because the 2's cancel, minus negative 3 over 2 is negative 1.5x, and negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. Okay, so now I'm trying to solve this equation right here by completing the square. Okay? So now I'm going to rewrite it where the equal zeros last. So I'm going to rewrite it as x squared minus 1.5x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow my procedure to complete the square. I'm going to add 2 on both sides. And so I have x squared minus 1.5x, leave a space, equals 2, okay? And so now I need to do b over 2 squared, and that will go in this spot right here, and I need to add it on the right as well. So let's calculate b over 2 squared. So b is negative 1.5, you can see it right here. So I've got negative 1.5 divided by 2, all squared. Now pause the video and calculate what that is. And so what I got was positive 0.5625. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add positive 0.5625 on both sides. Okay, and so I have x squared minus 1.5x plus 0.5625 equals, and then I need to add these two, and so I get 2.5625. And now I need to factor this trinomial right here. Okay, I need to factor this trinomial right here. Well, I already know that negative 1.5 divided by 2 is what I squared. Okay, so let's go ahead and factor it. So I'm going to write 2 binomials. And let me tell you this. The square root of x squared will always go here and here. And the square root of this, okay, will always go here and here. So let's take the square root of this, and we're going to put it right here and right here. And so what I got is I got 0.75. And the way I got that was I took the square root of this right here. So remember, the square root of x squared will always go here and here, and the square root of c will always go here and here, and then whatever this first sign is, it'll go in both. Okay? So I'm going to put a minus and a minus. Remember, the first sign is what always goes here and here, and now that equals 2.5625. Okay, now remember, x minus 0.75 times x minus 0.75 is the same thing as x minus 0.75 all squared. So let's rewrite it. All right, so here we go. So I got equals 2.5625. So now let's rewrite it. So x minus 0.75 times x minus 0.75 is x minus 0.75 all squared, and that equals 2.5625. And we're almost done. Okay, now how do we get rid of this squared right here? We square root both sides. So pause it right here and see if you can complete the problem. Okay, so I have x minus 0.75 because that's what the square root of all this squared is. And it equals whatever the square root of 2.5625 is. So calculate that in your calculator. Type the square root of 2.5625. Pause your video and calculate it. Okay, so what I get when I type that in the calculator is 1.6007. So I'm going to write 1.601. I rounded up. Okay, but remember, when you take, for example, if I take the square root of 4, that's not just 2. The square root of 4 is also negative 2. So the square root of this is not just 1.601, it's also negative 1.601. So I need to rewrite the problem, x minus 0.75, and that equals not just, it equals negative 1.601. And so the reason that's good is because this is a second degree polynomial and it should get 2 answers. And so I'll get one of the answers here and I'll get the other answer right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 0.75 to both sides, and I have x equals, pause the video and add these and see what you get. And so I got 2.351. Okay, now let's go over here to the right. Let's solve this one. First off, this is one of our answers right here. Now let's move over here to the right and solve it. I will add 0.75 on both sides, and I get x equals, now pause the video and add these up and see what you get. And so when I typed it in, I got negative 0.851. And so these are your 2 answers. Okay, your 2 answers are 2.351 and negative 0.851.